Hey everybody, Pastor Todd here with your weekly video meditation. During these meditations, we look ahead at the Sunday worship coming up. So this Sunday is going to be September 27th. Now we're going to be spending quite a few Sundays on covenant building. By the time we get to the last Sunday in November, which is the beginning of Advent, I want to have all those that have attended church or following this covenant study to have constructed their own covenant with God, that what you are going to bring to the table in your relationship with God, and what you ask that God bring to the table for you. So we're constructing covenant. This Sunday, we're going to talk a little bit about the mysterious part of making a covenant with God. And usually when you talk about human to human covenants, marriage, maybe something of a covenant within a family that they're going to try to make some changes and do something different. You know who you're dealing with. You've as much as you can know a person, I guess, you know people in your family, and you know someone that you want to spend your life with. Hopefully, you know them pretty well before you make that commitment. But when we're covenanting with God, we use words to describe God that are anthropomorphic. We use he, sometimes she. We use words like God's hand or God's face. And those are ways we can understand this power of creation and converse about it. But when we pause for a moment and we try to consider the true aspects of God, the true nature of God, we can quickly realize that it's beyond our ken. That's an old Scottish word from beyond our understanding. We ken it. So we have to covenant with this mystery called God and be able to embrace that we don't know everything and won't know everything about God, and that is part of the power of covenanting with God. It seems like a paradoxical statement, and you'll have to come to Sunday worship to hear more about this. But I think we'll get to a place, at least in this sermon worship, that we can see how the mysterious nature of God is actually quite hopeful and fulfilling for us. So that's the goal. I'm going to read to you. This is one of the scriptures that's included in the lectionary for this Sunday that I won't be reading in the service, but it speaks to the mystery of God of which I've spoken. Psalm 78, 1 through 4, and on 12 through 16. Listen, my people, to my teaching. Tilt your ears toward the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth with a proverb. I'll declare riddles from days long ago, ones that we've heard and learned about, ones that our ancestors told us. We won't hide them from their descendants. We'll tell the next generation all about the praise due the Lord and his strength, the wondrous works God has done. But God performed wonders in their ancestors' presence. In the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan, God split the sea and led them through, making the waters stand up like a wall. God led them with the cloud by day, by the lightning all through the night. God split rocks open in the wilderness, gave them plenty to drink, as if from the deep itself. God made streams flow from the rock, made water run like rivers. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So come this Sunday. All right. I forgot the best part of this Sunday. No false humility there. I will be preaching, but the best part definitely is going to be our very good friend Tony Legg performing some of his original music, wonderful original Christian music. The ones he's going to do are Somewhere Deep in the Night and Pass It On. Please come out and hear this wonderful Christian, this wonderful man perform his work for us. So 10:30 outside in the parking lot, Sunday the 27th. So the rest of what we do at our video meditations is a little bit of take a look at some concepts in racial equity work, racial sensitivity. You may have heard this one before. The concept I want to tell you about today is called a microaggression. Microaggression. A microaggression is the everyday verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slights, snubs, or insults, whether intentional or unintentional, which communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target persons based solely upon their marginalized group membership. Microaggressions, and I guarantee we've all been guilty of performing, being microaggressive with coworkers, extended family members, friends of minority groups. So some examples may be, no, not maybe, some examples are talking to a transgender person and then saying, oh, I can't even tell you're transgender. Or one that's come up several times in people's experiences, they tell me, specifically black people, having a white person tell them how well spoken they are, how articulate they are. One I think of that happens, as I recall in Texas a lot, is when a white person would ask a Hispanic person, where are you from? And then they'd say, like, I'm from Houston. And the person would have this look like, no, where are you really from? I saw a example of this. It was done in a comedic way, but it's, obviously microaggression is not a humorous thing. But it's two people walking on a trail, and one of them is Asian American, one is Anglo, Caucasian American, and the white male asks the Asian American, where are you from? And she's like, Fresno, California. And the guy's like, no, where are you really from? And you could see there that what this tells the person, it's a small statement. That's what's the micro about it. It's not a big swing or ethnic slur, but it's still damaging. And it still indicates that our thinking is not as nuanced as it should be. The fact is, as I think, return to my example of Texans, when Caucasian would say to a Hispanic, where are you from? That area we call Texas was settled first was settled by Native Americans moving a couple thousand years. Then there were Spanish colonists that came in first before an Anglo ever arrived. So there's several hundreds, I'm sure, Hispanic families that have been there much longer than any white person as in Texas. But the assumption being, if you're Hispanic in origin, you're from somewhere else other than here originally. And again, it displays ignorance and unwillingness to think about what we're saying before we say it. So, but that's part of what we're doing here. We're learning. We're taking the time to pause and listen to concepts that can help us cultivate racial sensitivity and lend itself to growing equality. It is a serious struggle, but it is at the heart of the walk with Christ, the Christian walk. So there you have it. Your challenge this week is I really want you to try to find, this is a smaller one, wrap your mind around the concept of microaggression. And I just want you to think back to a time that you have done it. You don't need to go confess. I want you to just realistically, authentically kind of explore your memory to a time when you may have done, you were a perpetrator of a microaggression, thinking about your own history, and maybe in the future you can change these things. So there you have it. I look forward to worshiping with you on September 27th, Sunday. Come out and hear Tony.